Hello everyone, I am Shamak Bosak, your host for today's Voluntary AI event, and I will have facilitated session. This event is Discover Research Opportunities with AI using LLM tools to connect ideas, people, and projects, presented by Dr. Huang, an associate professor in the School of Information Sciences at the University of Illinois. Dr. Huang is dedicated to innovating AI-based solutions that foster a synergistic relationship between humans and machines, enhancing educational opportunities to all and expanding access to community services. She is deeply committed to translating research into real-world benefits and making a positive societal impact. Her work has garnered support from respected government agencies such as the National Science Foundation, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and the National Institute on Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research, as well as from leading industry organizations such as OpenAI, Google, IBM Research, and HeyGen. Recently, she was selected for the 24-25 Emerging Research Leaders Academy by the Interdisciplinary Health Sciences Institute at Illinois. Dr. Huang earned her Ph.D. in Information and Computer Science from the University of California, Irvine. She received her bachelor's degree from the Department of Computer Science and Technology at Tsinghua University in Beijing, China. In this interactive session, Dr. Huang will demonstrate a suite of AI-powered research, discovery, and collaboration tools developed by the SALT Lab at the iSchool. These tools help students and faculty explore research ideas across disciplines through conversational AI, find potential mentors, collaborators, or advisors based on shared interests, identify Ph.D. or internship opportunities, as well as research projects that align with personal goals, learn how AI can support networking and community building across campus. She'll also share research insights on how these tools foster creativity, inclusivity, and interdisciplinary teamwork. Participants will have the opportunity to try the tools and discuss how they might enhance their own research journeys. If you have any questions throughout this event, do not hesitate to place them in the online chat. The host will collect them and notify the presenter. A thumbs up on your message question will be used to confirm your question was received by the host. 3 other links will be shared with you all in the chat. A link to, they've already been shared.
Yes.
Okay, so calendar of events, Gen AI events hosted at the CITL, playlist of recordings of previous events, as well as, a sign up sheet to our Gen AI newsletter where you can find tips, Gen AI tips, as well as calendar of upcoming Gen AI events hosted by the CITL. Without any further ado, Dr. Huang.
Thank you. Thank you, CITL, for inviting me. This is a great opportunity to share some of our work and also our passion. Again, I'm associate professor in the School of Information Sciences. I hope you're ready for a little ride with me now and a ride through the rapidly evolving world of AI and research. Okay, so let's kick off this conversation with some news on X, right? Sam Altman from OpenAI actually tweeted about this AI scientist called Cosmos. I'm not sure if any of them read about that. Basically, it's an AI tool that developed by another Sam, right? The other Sam is the director of this company. They are claiming that they're AI agents that can produce 6 months of work within a day. So 6 months of work of a PhD student within a day, basically based on the number of papers you can read, like that much time, and then the ideas output. All right, but they're not alone. Like several years ago, 2 years ago, I already kind of followed this kind of Sakana AI. I kept sharing about this company. It's a Japanese company initiated by some prior Google DeepMind researchers. And then they also sold a machine learning paper, one paper for $15. And recently, just this month, they got another round of investment monies, and then they're really like this is a massive. People will say like this is the future. Whichever organizations, countries, if they can get the AI scientists working, they definitely have massive advantages. So as researchers in academia, what is our relationship with AI? I would love to share some of my thoughts here in this talk. I love to propose a triple M approach. This is literally like I thought about this recently, like when I give talks. And yeah, so basically this approach is start with the mindset, and then we can make something and then reflect upon that. Is a growing expansion mindset model. So let's start with the mindset. Okay. And why it is important? Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos about these big names or their popular talks, and you can hear they have, like say, Ph.D. heavily emphasize we have to be human-centered AI, right? And then Elon Musk recent talk with Joe Rogan, he actually emphasized the risks, right? The truthfulness of the data internet data has a lot of junk, so we have to make sure we have truthful data. And then people from Stanford, from Oxford, all these researchers, some of them were saying, if you don't get your answer right, then probably you didn't prompt it right? So there are a lot of like different ideas about how we treat AI. But my thinking is they're actually all talking about different perspectives of this whole, human AI interaction modality, which spans different layers or different levels of automation, like autonomous driving, right? It can be fully automated or it's no automation. But if we think about our current work with, I heavily relied on Google Scholar in the past, and now I, use it only for certain situations. So we were relying on some machine learning algorithm to recommend papers to us. So we're already no automation. So we already always have some kind of machine AI assistant to us. It's a matter of to what extent or what part of our work is, outsourced to AI. And on the other spectrum, the extreme is everything is AI, right? Like paper writing by AI and reviewer by AI, right? That's one of the vision like this AI scientist company is kind of working towards. This probably can be realized if it's purely computational prediction, mathematical, proven type of activities because they're more like logical mathematical reasonings. But I have been trying to argue this, like this is very challenging for HCI research. I'm an HCI scholar, HCI is a human-computer interaction. Have a lot of, it's much more interdisciplinary, really, especially when we do systems work, when we create a novel system, we have to first know what are the limitations or opportunities of the current technologies, right? So we stay on top of the trend. And then we have to draw insights from existing theories, social science, cognitive science, right? And then when we have to work with different stakeholders to identify their attention and their needs, their competing needs, and we have to find a sweet spot to be able to design this innovation so that people accept it and people find it usable, useful, and used. So yeah, and then you have to use mixed method to evaluate. Often where there is new technique coming up, there are a lot of unexpected situations. So it's really hard to develop this hypothesis if there is no such treatment before. So that's why we have to address a lot of challenges from different perspectives, and we have to understand how humans do the work right now. So in our prior research, we applied formative studies, methods to really understand the life cycle of HCI researchers. So it is really messy, iterative, and mingled with convergent thinking, divergent thinking, and with multi-disciplinary researchers, and sometimes conflicting values and constant negotiations, right? If you look at this is what I use, some kind of tool called napkin AI or yeah, it's very cute, right? Yeah. So basically you put this, you can see the time span of LLM models from 2022 November to now, actually literally very recently, Gemini 3, right? So, but all these tools, actually, they support a lot of things already, right? But mainly they provide this kind of conversation, like you have questions, they give you answers, right? But it's not like simulating different expertise, which is really critical for interdisciplinary work. And those tools are sometimes they're mainly designed for generic, QA question answer. And then, but there are also like deep research tools. I think people already use like deep research model. There is a a little option you can choose with ChatGPT, Gemini, right? And a lot of tools have provided that. And then there are like this called Research Rabbit, and showing you the citation maps that you can trace. You can see where the source coming from, where are there the generation or the development of certain topics. But again, it doesn't support that like dialogue with different mindsets, right? Different subject domain expertise. So, and then actually the comic Cosmo one, the right hand side of the image is Cosmo interface. I have my student test it. Actually, we all can test for free. They give you free credits. And I have to tell you the different inputs I got. Someone said like, oh, they ran for like 40 minutes, didn't get a result yet. Someone took like 30 minutes to get the first batch of results, which was okay, but they also compare with other tools since there is still, some kind of limitations. But they definitely like some of the interface features that help you to prompt more accurately. So I do feel like different, unless you try, right? You really didn't know. And I have one student, he literally sent me this morning, said like he ran that for a few hours and then it didn't give return results. And I saw his prompt. He makes the four, like you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that really burned, right? Really burned their, or they're putting into a lower priority. Anyway, it's too complicated. That means like too complicated probably doesn't work in that case. But for ChatGPT, deep research, you can definitely get one. But again, this is not that interactive. They don't have very like interactive design to support dialogue conversations with interdisciplinary research. And so that's why I think the mindset I have is we want to create tools that can cultivate a synergistic relationship between humans and AI, meaning remember the mental model we had, right? It's iterative, it has evolved different steps, different connections. And we want to identify which works really AI can empower us, which part we should have our critical thinking. So that's the drive, right? So then I'm going to share our works that or the system we made to support human AI collaboration. All right. So the 3 research prototypes is kind of like start with how we can use LLM to support research ideation, and instead of like replacing humans, how we can promote human researchers' deep thinking, creativity, and critical thinking. The second is, okay, let's say you have an idea. Use my first tool to get some idea. And then you need to build up team, right? Most of our HCI research, system research cannot be done by, well, there are some competent students who can really get all the bolts and nuts done, but most of the works in our lab is really a team project, right? People take different roles. So how we can find the right skill set to build up the team. The third one is, okay, you did a fantastic job. How do you outreach? How do you promote, disseminate your work? So let's get to the first one, research flow. Persona flow. So the system is really trying to answer or trying to support how we can receive immediate support or help or input from interdisciplinary research. So as I said, we want some kind of interactions to have dialogue with different minds, right? So initial idea is we want some kind of map that can like mind map, right? Help us to really trace how our like research ideation, research questions evolve at different stages. So this is the initial design. So researchers can start with one idea and then by prompting with LLM give you feedback, and then you can revise that. And anytime, it's not just giving you feedback, it also pull semantic scholar, relevant research papers, and then give you context of why we give you this suggestion, right? So this is one initial design. Now, whenever we think about this map or tree type of design, there are going to be always like 2 kinds of exploration. One is divergent, like we can broadly explore the topic, or we can go convergent, we go deep, right? For one topic, we really drill down. And then we run experiments And this is published last year in the top in our field #1 conference. And we run experiments, we test like how different designs really works, or how different navigation works. And we found that the depth first, or the convergent exploration, really improve the quality of the question, the generated questions. So people really get more clear and more clarity and feel like more creative. The quality of the question much better. But then, if you give them these choices to allow them to go across broadly explore more topics, the divergent exploration, they were very satisfied. They're emotionally pleased, right? They feel mentally pleased and also expanded. So I think one is more like a tangible work, right? The outcome is better than convergent one, but the divergent one emphasizes more about the experience, how you feel about the whole experience, the journey. And we also find interesting things is when we have slow AI, when AI have the pauses, we intentionally design some pauses. People actually, it's not like they are less patient. When they're waiting, they actually do some other exploration with your tool. So that makes them feel, we run surveys at the end of the study, make them feel more control, like they're in control, they have more initiative. Okay, so this experience allows us to identify the factors that AI can contribute, right, in this mental model. So we enhance this mental model to a human AI collaboration one instead of like only human initiated mental model. Okay, so but this initial design only focus on one AI, right? One persona. It's very generic. We just prompt the GPT. But then talking about while we were doing the research, we found that people like to see, oh, I want some expertise from a professional like HCI or UX researcher from Google, right? So that's why we say like, why not like we simulate this different persona, AI simulated experts, and see how people respond to that. That motivated us to improve the design to bring the different personas into this map, right? Allow them to interact with them. So this is a demo. You start with a research, like general research goal or research question. And then based on the description of your research idea, we prompt you different expertise. And sometimes you don't even have the term or vocabulary to say, oh, what kind of expertise they are, right? But now we prompt this for you. And then you can always customize or change, right? And while we're running this study, someone says like, I want a Stanford professor. So people have this kind of like biases, right, about expertise and affiliations, but also they will say, I want a Google researcher who have more than 10 years of experience in the industry. So they have this kind of very interesting collaboration of these personas, which is we found that they want to have more customization here. And then in this case, each persona gives you relevant papers from the semantic scholar. You can choose, you can delete, and you can add more papers into different themes, right? And then with these themes, you can click next, and then it will generate the critiques. Like given these papers, I help you identify what is the gap, right? You can always edit. You feel like, oh, this is not exactly what I think. Like you can definitely, based on your understanding after you read the paper, you feel like the change critiques. And then further, the critiques can spawn more research questions. And then once you finalize which one you like the best, you can choose that and then generate the whole research plan. Okay, which includes the related work, the proposed methods, and the hypothesis, and then the final expected contribution outcomes. So we also have another system to, based on this, you can also see what kind of risks involved in this project, right? How you mitigate that. So that is the system. And then we run another round of study to see how people use that. You can see this is an illustration of one use case. You can see at the very beginning, people really, we can see them click open each node and then trying to find the best one they like. And then they go scaffolding the ideas and then really zigzag and then eventually go down one path and then finally they're satisfied. So while we're definitely always in HCI research, we collect their survey, scores. We also calculate, understand their backend logs, and we found that people definitely find these multi-personas input are more helpful than single one, which is not that surprising. But mentally, like we calculate their NASA scores, right? Their the cognitive load. There's no significant difference, even though you see a little bit tendency like certain difference, but it's not statistically significant different. And then we also apply critical thinking framework to understand when they think aloud, when they navigate, or when they type their research questions, what kind of which order of critical thinking activities they have conducted, right? So definitely we want a higher order of critical thinking, not just the memory, right? Not just take copy paste for sure. So for example, after looking at different inputs from multiple personas, they often question, some of the participants question their initial idea, right? They go back to the original node and then customize it and then spawn more personas and then trying to get more comprehensive views. So that's a very interesting, it's called self-regulation critical thinking activity, which really refine or challenge one's own judgments or conclusion or hypothesis, which we really want to cultivate. So finally, here is a quote that some participants said, it's really like having a committee of mentors who don't judge me. That's very interesting, right? Because that maybe imply, right? So the mentors really judge them. And anyway, so that's good, right? This is a common finding that people don't feel like AI judge them. Well, I don't know how long it's gonna stay once you have more deep, right, relationship building, you make them feel like more like they're humans. Right now, the ChatGPT have an advanced model which you can customize or change different personas or prefer certain ones. So if it's more like human type of relationship bound, you may feel like they're judging you. But anyway, so let's summarize Persona Flow. It's a free web app. Again, thanks to NSF funding, we have some credits to run it for free. And I'm providing you the link in the final QR code. You can definitely check it out later. Yeah, I originally put the link here. I have no, I should not put it there. So I put it later. So it is more than 200 users already used it. And then also, it's very interesting. We showed this to high school teachers in Unihan. And she liked it, and the teacher liked it, and then invited us to, customize the tool a little bit. You remember the workflow is like a persona, paper, critiques, and question, right? Actually, she suggests us to hide the RQ generation part, only provide the relevant literature, so that the student, high schoolers, going to look at the themes, allowing them to, scaffold ideas, quickly jump into some of the space, but they have to read the papers and then think about their ideas. So we actually offer that tool to her class, which is very interesting. And yeah, okay, so the second, so now we have a tool to create idea, right? Let's say you have the, use our outline, polish it, and then customize it to your own project. How can we find the talents, the brains, the skill set, the people, students to help us work on that, right? So this is always mutual beneficial. You have to find the one who are passionate about this topic, who really want to design, who has a strong desire to build certain skills, right? You cannot force someone who are passionate about algorithm only do qualitative work with you on, human-centered research. So that's why we create this tool. It's called Illinois Sphere. Our vision is we really hope our school use that, our university use that. So for example, this is, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but the current prototype basically has iSchool faculty information, and it's all public information. We're not going to be, the privacy, we carefully handle it. All the information is like a Google Scholar, and use me as a test, okay? So the idea is the student or any user can say, oh, I want to work on, I'm not able to see it very clearly. I should maximize the text, but you can see that, right? So if I want to explore multimedia collaboration, which faculty I should work with, right? So basically, you have a particular subject, a topic, or a domain, application domain, and then our system can quickly find the person for you. And this is, I think this is really helpful because think about all our departments. A lot of these schools, they have huge, like hundreds of faculties. I can tell you, even I have the CS background, often sometimes I don't really know which CS faculty I should collaborate because they can all claim they're machine learning or, AI guys. Same here. So then the last example is very interesting. The test is like my student, literally the developer asked what skills is needed if I want to work with me, right? And then the statement is like you need to be curious, and you need to something. I think there is another one: curious, and then passionate about something. I forgot, right? But basically, I like this answer because I don't like to work with students who are not passionate about their work. They have to have their own drive to, solve, human problems or societal problems with technology. Passionate about designing technology. So that's what I like. Okay, now users any user. It doesn't have to be right the faculty. So students, when they create this, we want to say this tool is heavily skill oriented. So like right now, I feel like in the era of AI, I think it's really not how much you memorize the knowledge, how much you know this paper or this thing. You really need to develop that skill that you can learn things quickly. You can learn new skills, right? It's also the way how we test AI intelligence. It's about when you're thrown into a totally strange place, how much you can quickly pick up the skill set or be creative. So that's why we ask the users to specify their own skills, right? And also their targeted skills, so that we use that to help you do the matchmaking, like which faculty, which projects can hone that particular skills, right? And yeah, and then you can see here, once you have your profile, and then we have the faculty list that we can recommend you the ones that more aligned with your interest. All right. Again, I'm sorry you can see my name all the time because I do want to make sure we don't show other, too much. Okay, so you can see we rank them and we give you a reason. This is the LLM feature of that, right? So we literally have a counselor here, right? You can work with this faculty. Why is that? Because your interest met this, right? So, and we give you a percentage. Well, definitely you don't have to believe that percentage, but you can do your own call. But that's one feature I think LLM is good at. And again, here is where you can post your own project, right? Students often have their own hackathon, their startup idea. They want to attract talents to be part of their team. So this is where they can also promote the projects and identify talents. And also, I think there's going to be some credit in the system in the sense, I think the student is good. It's a LinkedIn, but it's more grassrooted, like community, campus-driven, like people have more trust and willing to share a little bit more information here. Anyway, so you can apply a particular project, you can also post your own project. I think this is very good for a hackathon, when we host a hackathon. Or like freshmen, like I was approached by several freshmen or even seniors, right? They want to approach research project. They can use this tool not only to design, like find one particular topic, but also strategically develop a path to building, right? Several skill sets that lead towards their future. So here for this project, you can see we have live demo there, and we're running user study. We're trying to submit a research paper out of this study, but we're trying to launch this next semester. I hope like anytime available. And we look for collaborators or participants who are willing to adopt this baby or maybe help us like provide infrastructure. Right now, it's everything running on my GPU, right? It's limited just one single GPU, very, very, sweating, right? So I hope we can get some more support for this.
I had a comment about that because I've been working or speaking with corporate relations people, and they look at this corporation is interested in some research that Illinois is doing, and so this might be another reach out, like so they can find the faculty doing what the corporate.
And I have to tell you, like my website, my lab website is super outdated. I don't have the time to update it, right? But the good way of this tool is they can see your most recent paper publication, and they can kind of like yeah, they can kind of like help you recommend the match based on your recent works, right? So I think this is always like how we can lower the barriers of collaboration, but also find the best match.
So somebody's asking just while I'm speaking.
Okay.
So does this tool have an API? Well, it's not even released yet. That's what somebody's asking.
The tool is actually a web and also mobile app. You can just log in using Google Scholar, Google email or your UIUC email. So we can, if you, in the end, I have a QR code. If you leave your contact, we can definitely send you the link and then give you, collaborate on that. Right. So I can definitely say like we can promote this, say, hey, this is the starting, some faculty already using that, student using, but clearly, if too many students use this tool to apply, this is actually a good thing because our system is going to help you, test it out, like maybe sending automatic questions. There are a lot of AI as an interviewer, but this is, to me, is a little bit repetitious feature. There are a lot of tools available for that. But what I'm hoping is this should be a skill-driven. If you look at the cloud, like I can talk more about this, but basically there are a lot of protocol, right? MCP protocol, but now cloud opens this skill-based protocol. It's basically everything has to be skill-driven, like even AI agents. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that. But let's continue. So the other one, the third one is Conspire. It's really help you connect, outreach others. This is really emphasized. Like, let's say if you go to a conference that is not your domain, or you always a bigger conference, like some of my conferences have thousands of people, right? And how do we, hold a second. How do we get to know or promote our work to them? Okay. And so this is actually I often design a tool that I want to use it first, right? So literally before I took the flight to Mexico for CSCW 24, and I said, let's create a tool that I can, if I see someone's name tag, I can search their papers. I don't have to, because right now the conference proceeding search is just keyword based. There is no way like asking questions. So I have to read their paper abstract, right? And understanding what their paper is about. I have to quickly think about what question to ask. But now we're creating this app that help me to bootstrap or ice breaking much in a more intelligent way, right? So I can show you, this one is like, I go to a conference and I see the proceedings, and then based on my interest, my background, they recommend my sessions. Right, because there's many conferences too big enough, like you manually choose to put into your box, and then that's your session, and you forgot. And this one is like trip planning, like always the AI, they always demo like, oh, we have this book the trip for you, like trip planner. Where here we have the conference planner. We have the conference planner. Hopefully, like you can find the right people to hang out with and then promote your work. So here is some example. We actually released this app to 4 conferences. So far, we're trying to provide this to more AI conferences that, like you guys designed this all algorithm, why don't you turn into a real thing, right? Anyway, so we run this tool with some scholars, well-known HCS scholars like Professor Garger from MIT. He was asking, hey, you recommend me some authors, but I want to know who are not my collaborators, right? So we asked, hey, show me some relevant works from non-collaborators. And then they did pretty good job. Our system did very good job. And then we also he also said like he thought like students should know when they approach faculty what kind of question they should ask. This one also does. So some of this feature you can see the overlap with the learning sphere. And the last the other example from Google prior Google UX researcher, she actually asked a very interesting question. She asked like, who hates my research? Who will hate my research, right? Who will have different opinions about my work? So we actually collect that, and then it was a satisfactory. It was very interesting use cases, right? Anyway, so in summary, our Conspire app is collaboration. We're trying to offer to more conferences. If you think about it, it doesn't have to be conferences. It can be career fairs, right? It can be any like venues, or it can be just for your departments. Again, some of these features between the last 2 apps have shared, but but I think all in all, for this phase, I want to emphasize you have to see it, you have to try it, you have to question it. My goodness, I'm running out of time. Let me quickly go to the mirror. Okay, reflection. What is the key message? I think AI can help us know what we don't know, right? We often have these biases. We really don't really know how to realize that. And AI can help us. And then if you look at the language of this academic ECM or this community, they say you can use generative AI in preparing your papers, but you have to be careful what the boundaries, right? You can use that to cosmetic images, definitely, but not like plagiarism, false information, or fake results. And there's a guidelines, core principles of using AI here at the very, I think definitely give a very good framework, but they're all on papers. Their definition, their concepts, but you have to try yourself to really know the boundaries. For example, just last month, there was a conference about Asian sport science, right? Basically the idea is AI will be the authors and reviewers. Actually, they test it out. They have a YouTube video for this conference, like 3 hours. I highly suggest you to watch it. I like it. So there are some kind of major takeaway that resonate my observation. So one is AI can spit out so many ideas, but they don't have good taste yet, right? And if you look at, because they're trained by a lot of garbage, actually a lot of data on the internet, but so sometimes they don't know what is the most exciting. So you have to communicate with AI to improve the taste. And then AI as a reviewers, oftentimes they want to please you, the social sympathy phenomena, because they want to please you. I say, yes, I accept, right? Even they point out wrong things in they accept your papers. So should we treat AI as collaborators? Probably you can take them as interns. So what's the major difference between interns? You need to give patience. They make mistakes. You have to define your own culture and norms and values with your interns, right? Okay, and who is responsible for bad papers? I think this is open dialogue, but I think humans, whoever put your part of this, should be more responsible for that. So definitely guardrails for data leakage or ethical issues. Again, our university have the language, and then CMU has very interesting language. And so several universities have this language, but CMU give you different versions of, to what extent you use AI to give you different samples. My lab actually have also the AI use policy, which But again, in the end, what do you disclose your AI use? And it's still a discussion. Yeah. All right, let's get back to my model. All in all, I think people talk a lot about risks, and then when I give the talk to practitioners in different fields, I hear a lot of fears, resistance, hesitation. I fully understand. We always also need to be cautious, right? We don't want to make damaging mistakes. But in the meantime, I have a belief that the whole process should be driven by love, not by fear. What I mean by love is if we truly love what we're doing in the research, we naturally want to put time to validate if the information is true or not, right? We care about the quality. And also, if we really enjoy the whole process, human naturally want to have more agency, right? We want to get hands dirty, like a child, right? When you play the games, you don't say, hey, go play games and display to me and I sit and watch. No, you want to be immersive. You want to be, feel the warmth and then get the touch and then, run, get sweat. So I feel like if you truly love something, you will get in control. You will stay on top of that. You'll be responsible as well. So the value, we also want to train AI with this value system. That's my whole message. Okay, I love to acknowledge my funding agency, my collaborators. Now here is the link, the QR code, please. Scan that. So the QR code includes links to the 3 systems, and also, open-ended questions. You can put more or less or 0 comments on that, but it would be great to receive your input on which systems or which tool you have more interest in. and also which one you might want to be collaborating with. I'm open to collaboration. I feel like this is a great opportunity. In this area, our lab actually stayed quite on top of the field in this case. Like we're really innovating. We're spearheading in this area. Okay, I don't make time for QA. That's all for. Thank you for coming and listening.
So we'll give a little class. There's still QA time, so if somebody wants to jump in either on audio or
questions.
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, I love this stuff. Everything looks great and very useful for related research. I'm curious about that Consphere application that you were showing us.
Consphere? Yeah.
You were saying that you're interested in finding out in different spaces as well, or what stage are you at in the development of Consphere?
Oh, Consphere, you mean the last one, the conference one? Is deployed, is available. If you go to the link, one of the link goes to one conference, the recent conference I went at Norway, and that's actually available for all attendees. They can use that to check papers and then finding authors, and then and also the major things about that I think is also the digital ribbons, right? Because if you go to one of our conference, we have this like label you can put on your name tag. Different colors, like you can say your first attendee, your authors, your presenters, your panelists, things like your reviewers, something like that. But here, like you only have that limited print out, right? So we put here in the system, we have your digital ribbon. You can customize anything. You want to look for industry collaborator, you want to go look for a job, you're on the market, whatever, right? So that helps you matching. We have that feature there. It's all there. So if there's a new conference, all what we need to do is dump the data of the conference proceedings, and then we have to build some index to make sure that embedding the authors, whatever some of the key topics, some of the basic query doesn't go too much off, and we just mainly the backend, not the front end.
And how much lead-in time do you need for that?
Good question. We're targeting Europe. We're actually trying to release this app for one of the major AI conference in November 30th. Okay. But my student has like a trip, Thanksgiving trip. So that's why I'm not sure if we're going to make it or not. But not very much, because we're quite skilled with that. Yeah. Okay. Like if the student, because the major students working on that, he's on the job market right now. So I really don't want him to, put energy on this. So I'm getting new students working on that. Typically that maybe a little few days, like 2-3 days to really fine tune everything. If they put time on that, but other than shouldn't.
I'm talking months out.
So, no, it's not. No. Another question. Yes.
Yeah, if there are none online, then I'll ask my question. So first, I want to begin. I think this is fantastic. I love what you were showing us today. A little bit of background set. I have a background in human-computer interaction and industrial design, and I used to teach industrial design students the double diamonds process for creating, going from thought to thing. So the first thing you showed, the persona flow, was that made me very happy. I love the idea of like the diverging and converging put in this process. My question is I love the idea of having the personas of like the people to kind of like help with co-design. My question is have you also thought to consider, or have you considered adding design methods as to like help with the diverging and converging, as far as like actually building out some of your the initial like prompts that shoot out? And then I guess to go along with that, at any point in the process, are you able to go kind of back and cycle back to one of the beginning stages as you learn new information and data?
You can cycle back. Okay. But when you say design methods, what other design methods?
So I'm thinking of there are a couple of design methods out there that help with generating ideas, that help with brainstorming and coming up with basically ways to help analyze or diverge and converge. There's a great book out there. There's two called Game Storming and Thinker Toys that help go through. They're essentially activities that you can do to help engage your team to then come up and generate new ideas and also help to analyze the information that you already have. So my question is have you considered adding that to this to help give the AIs almost a little bit more active engagement with the user to help generate new ideas?
To answer your question, yes, we actually have, I didn't put that work into this presentation, but that work also has a system, has a paper, got very high score, like a straight like acceptance from a top conference already. And that paper, I can send you archive link if you fill out the form with your notes and say, I want that paper, like dimension. It's called Perspecta. Like basically, in that work, we show multi-personas, they have discussions. But in the discussion, we also LLM label what that discussion is about. Like that discussion is questioning, challenging, or something like, or it's just explaining something. So that is making the conversational strategy more salient to the user, so they can navigate or you can steer the discussion better. But we didn't apply all the gamification strategy to promote the discussion outcome. But we can definitely talk about it. The spring, my student, he wanted to actually really go back to improve the multi-persona discussion to really maybe benchmark which strategy could have more really like creative ideas. Yeah, so that's actually a space we can definitely improve. Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
What's your name, remind me?
My name's Alex still. I'm the XR designer here for the CITL.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
There was an online question. Yeah. They were impressed that you developed stuff in-house. And I think the question is, are you running else through a bigger model? Like all these.
So yes, actually we call GPT. We call the most recent GPT models.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you're using.
Let's say when we do embedding, we call most recent because they do have a better performance. But in our GPU server, we have other models. It's just like for some kind of concerns, we turn to provide, use more a higher, bigger model to ensure a little bit of quality, better. Yeah. But we can definitely run all this with small models on local machines, which may address some of the privacy concerns or something. Yeah. So I think that's a good idea. Like I remember NCSA, they mentioned that they're like the other chatbot app, they have their own in-house model or something like that. So I think, yeah, we can definitely see if we're building this Illini sphere, I think some of the information we might want to keep in-house, but again, a lot of this research hackathon, whatever, they're really open with smart. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have more time or are we 1 minute to left?
We can have another question if somebody has it, otherwise, if you have any.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, who really see this could be adopted by the campus and then we can use it, really catalyze the collaboration or teamwork?
No, I love this. And you reached out to me and some people at the College of Business. So yes, I've seen it in action where you're reaching out to people on campus. One thing that I think about, of course, Illinois Chat was trying to do a little bit of a research connector. I don't know where they were. We found a few errors because it kind of seemed like, hey, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in this. You have the same people, but so I don't know if eventually, right? Or we take, maybe yours is better because it's thought out, but then they do the back. Who knows?
I care more about the intellectual artifact can be more broadly applied. I don't really care if it's under me or under others. So if there is a collaboration to get the work more applied into practice, I would love to see that. And with more data and users, we can get higher quality publication, also funding. So I think it's a win-win situation. I'm seeking for win-win situation. Yeah.
But good question. How do you kind of air these ideas out there to try to get more collaborators? Well, you speak at things like this, just trying to see if other people are interested. But I love it.
Yeah, sometimes it is very hard to have the top-down approach, like, people who have a lot of concerns, releasing apps in their, officially. So sometimes we can just take the grassroots, like, Facebook start with something like undergrads, right? Facebook was not really by like
No, well,
chest
yeah, didn't-
burst. So yeah, so I hope we can make something. Stir it.
Yeah, good.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much. This was great.